So here we are, viewers. Today is the 8th of October, and this is a ownership report on this 1989 Nissan Sunny that I've had since April 2024, although it wasn't on the road until February 2025. So I have owned it actually 18 months now. Doesn't seem like that because, of course, over half that time I wasn't able to use the car. But these days I am using it an awful lot, actually. Just had it cleaned. That bumper is actually better than I got the car, if you can believe it. It's been repaired several times, and we have got another bumper for it, for the front. It's actually off a lower specification model and it's not painted. So I personally prefer just to leave it like that because that's more correct to have that bumper on, and it's not coming off, it's all secure, so that's fine. This is not a concours car. It never was supposed to be. It never was like that when the previous chap who owned it, Mr. Brisdian, had it, although it's quite good. There are some very small areas of rust on this car. This rear bumper's had some kind of accident in the sort of last 5 years or so. I actually filmed the car first 5 years ago, October 2020 I first filmed it. Mr. Brisdian owned it and I bought it off him about 3.5 years later. The N13 Sunny was made from 1986 to 1991. This is actually a late pre-facelift car. It's unusual to have a pre-facelift car on a G plate. We think this car was actually made in 1988, because by late 88, early 89, the cars had a different engine for the 1.6. This is the E16S engine on a carburettor. The later cars with a facelift, it just really involves a little Nissan badge in the middle of the grille. This one has it to the side. It's not even a badge really, it's just some lettering. And they have what's called the GA16 engine, which I probably better than this engine, to be honest, but this one's okay, particularly because I spent £200 plus labour having a new engine fitted to this car. Which has been working well so far. The car's on 85,000 miles. The engine's actually on 55,000 miles, and it came with a gearbox as well, so that was good. In fact, let's start by taking a look under the bonnet, shall we? So here we go. This is the triangle engine, also known as the E-Series engine, not to be confused with the British Leyland E-Series engine. It's introduced into the Datsuns and Nissans in about 1979-1980. This is relatively late for the European market. This is an 89 car, though we think it was made in 88, and this develops 83 horsepower. You can see why it's got the nickname triangle engine. Cam belts on this side. Obviously the engine was actually out of the car when we got it, and it was done on the bench, the cam belt job. Not really a lot to see under here at all. We've got power steering on this car. There's no air conditioning. I don't think air conditioning was available in any British market N13 Sunny. And yeah, loads of room to work on. The gearbox is just down here. Obviously, you had a new gearbox as well as the replacement engine. On a carburettor, a single Hitachi carburettor, which that one is. And yeah, you know, this is the sort of thing that will remind you of what cars were like back in the 1980s. They're just incredibly simple. Some versions of the N13 had fuel injection, this one doesn't. You can actually get 3 completely different 1.6 engines in an N13 Sunny. You could get this E-Series one, you could get the GA16 engine, and also a CA16 engine from the Nissan Bluebird, depending on whether you wanted to go for the more powerful version, which was the CA16, I think it was ZX, and then the Sunny GTI. They're very, very rare, the TI and the ZX versions of this car. Also at this time, Nissan was selling 2 completely different versions of the Sunny as well. The B12, which was an estate and a coupe, and then a B11 estate as well, which is a previous generation to the B12. Why Nissan did this, it's very confusing. I've never really been able to explain this very well. This car's been filmed by 2 other channels on YouTube, JM on Cars, just back in the spring, and then Mr. Richardson from Furious Driving filmed it in the summer, and neither of them really understand the very confusing Nissan Sunny model range from the late 80s and early 90s. Much simpler when they were all replaced in 1991 by what was called the N14 Sunny, although the estate versions of a Traveller, they're called the Y10, they're imported from another factory in Japan, but they're basically very, very similar. I'm hoping to drive the Y10 Traveller that I drove in 2021 soon again, actually, 'cause it's a great car, that. Anyway, Yeah, there's not really been much to say about this, apart from having the engine change in the car. There's just some very light surface rust around little places, but this car's 36 years old. I was 6 when this car was registered, actually, so it's a very sort of nostalgic thing for me as well, because, you know, I drive this around a lot, particularly during the summer, and people really like looking at it. They think it's fabulous, and of course it is. So, let's open the boot. You also open the fuel flap as well, from the same lever here. So as this saloon, you can get a 3 or 5 door hatch of the N13, and as you've described, lots of other versions of the B12s and B11s as well. For some reason, they weren't so proud of being a Nissan. They're more proud of being a Sunny. Thank you autofocus, rubbish. They're more proud of being a Sunny than a Nissan at the time, and there's a model designation of the GSX. Boot's actually quite big on this. You can see you can fit all sorts of other stuff in here. We've got various bits in here from the previous engine. We've got the air cleaner and things in here as well. We have still got the cylinder head from the previous engine. That works absolutely fine. We'll probably sell that at some point. And the gearbox, that's fine too. You can see this car only takes 97 octane fuel. You have to put E5 in this. Not necessarily because of the ethanol content. It's more the fact that you know, you don't want it to run on fuel that doesn't have enough octane in it. So I always put E5 in this. You can put E10 in it in an emergency, but it's not that advisable if you can avoid it. So, done the engine, we've done the boot. Have a look inside. Now, this is a relatively high spec N13, so it's got this 3-spoke steering wheel with leather wrap on the rim of it. Indicator and wiper stalks are the other way around from what they've been in most European cars of the time. And this was a thing dating back years, you know, things like Minis and everything like that. We used to have the stalk on the right, didn't they, back in the 70s. And that was the case for lots of Japanese cars into the 1990s, to be honest, as well. So we've got different dash as well from the lowest models. We've got a rev counter in here as well. One thing I have had to do very often is actually keep changing these fuses over here. The fuse box is just under there, and for some reason the meter fuse, which controls various things like the indicators and also the fuel gauge, temperature gauge and the rev counter, has not blown exactly, but not been the best. So sometimes I have to keep changing the fuse over. It's not happened for a while. I think we've put the right fuse in now, so it's not so bad. What happens then is only the speedo then works. Indicators don't work, although you still get lights and you still get the hazard lights. So it's not the end of the world, really. Just have the hazard lights on and pull over when you can and change the fuse over. The glove box is actually quite big on this car. There's a little speaker in there, which is just well, because the radio only works on one speaker and the aerial is broken, so that's not so good. Also not so good is the fact we don't have electric mirrors in here. I'm not sure any N13s had electric mirrors, actually. We do have 4 electric ones, but actually power shot drivers one as well, both up and down, which is brilliant. Also you get power door locks. The trim doesn't feel as luxurious as something like, I don't know, a Rover 216 Vanden Plas or an Orion gear, which was a direct competition for something like this back in the day. We have got high adjustable seat belts and electric sunroof, which is good. 5-speed manual. You could get a 3-speed automatic, but this is a manual, which is good. I prefer the manual personally. Very, very simple heating and ventilation controls. You can see this is where the air conditioning control would have been something like Malaysia, and then the radio is just down there. Now, in some cars, the radio was nice and high up here, like I say, a Volvo 460, which would have come out a few months after this, actually. Yeah, there we go. We've got ashtrays here as well, cigarette lighter. This is for stuff as well down here. I don't know what it's for, but there it is. There's not really any cup holders associated with it. There's nowhere to put very much. So if you have a cup or a bottle, there's nowhere to put it anywhere. So you have to just kind of improvise with that. Gearbox is nice. Obviously, it's only done 55,000 miles, and the car's done 85,000 miles. Very normal handbrake, and reasonably comfortable for long journeys. For a car like this age, it's fine. You don't expect it to be like a long-distance cruiser, really, and it's not. It's actually fairly economical. You can get sort of 45 miles per gallon out of this if you drive relatively gently, and it will cruise at 70 fine. Look in the back. We've got Bramwell in here. He's looking a bit tired. We'll leave him, shall we? Electric rear windows. And these are actually the original specification wheel trims for this car. Mr. Brisdian actually did get some, and the car looks great with them. So what are we going to do with this? Well, at some point I might sell this. I was going to sell it back to Mr. Brisdian because he expressed an interest in it, but he can't get insurance on this in comparison with his 1983 Ford Granada. That's actually cheaper to insure than one of these. So he's decided to have that. I've decided to keep this for the time being and just keep running it. It's not a concourse car. The cosmetic stuff is, you know, because I use it all the time, I'm not so fussed about that. It'll need a lot of tidying up to be a concourse car. Mechanically, it's pretty good. It might need a clutch in it at some point. It's a little bit on the high side, but that's okay. And yeah, I'm grateful to Mr. Coleman, who's been working on this for me. He used to work on lots of these back in the day. And also the people on the Datsun Club UK Facebook page, which provides support for pre-1995 Nissans and Datsuns, and the Nissan Sunny Owners Club on Facebook, which is actually how we got the engine to this car as well. So that's also a good club to join if you're into these. I would only really change this if I had my way for an N13 Sunny. They are actually better than these in some ways, but the look of this car is actually what sets it apart. People love the look of this, and I don't blame them. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again in maybe another 6 months for another update.